Hello, everybody, and welcome, 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 welcome. Today is Talk to Me Tuesday. This is my favorite part of the day or favorite part of the day of the week where I share helpful networking tips to help you grow your business. So I want to make sure I kind of get us all situated here, make sure again that my devices are all connected because I want to make sure that we are all together and that we are being able to take some notes. So in the meantime, while I am doing that, getting all my devices together, please grab a pencil and paper because I want to share something with you today that normally kind of we talk about it, but I want to make sure that we're putting it in place right now for us to start dominating 2021. So let me just really quickly go here and check my devices to make sure that, I have all my audience in tune with me. If you are just joining us, can you put a 1 in the comments? Or if you're going to check me out on the replay, put #replay. But I want to make sure that we are all together here. So let me just, whenever you're looking down, when you're trying to do something, make sure that we're smiling. So people will be like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, okay. There we go. So good morning, Ms. Deborah. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to talk to you today about something that is that we're going to need to start implementing. So again, for all of those who are watching, my name is Tandra Price. I am known as your networking ninja, and I am a network strategist, and I help entrepreneurs use virtual platforms to plug into the power of networking to not only grow their networking base, but cultivate relationships and build meaningful connections and make their business profitable by plugging into the power of networking. Networking is more than just going to networking events and collecting business cards, but it's like, what do you do with the information once you have it? So today we're going to talk about, and please forgive me because I'm always writing it down. Hey, Ms. Shannon, how are you? So please forgive me because I write all my stuff down. One of my good friends of mine say note takers are money makers. So I want to make sure I get all the notes and juices down. So today I'm going to give you a couple of ways. I'm always talking about, different ways to build your network base, your community, basically. And I want to share with some things. If you're not implementing these things, I want to share with you some things that you can start doing right now to start, growing your community. Now, we know that growing a community is very important because that's really how we get our message out. So all this year, we're going to be talking about, you'll hear me say, message, message, message. The message really has to be clear, concise, and memorable, okay? Because once we can do that and relay our message, then it's easier for us to be able to get customers to come into the fold of what we're doing. Not only is it our message, but our message has to connect to build relationships. So I want to make sure that we are very clear with that, and I'll be talking about that a lot. Hey, how are you doing, Mrs. Rodriguez? Let me see. I hope this will be recorded. Let me put on my glasses, okay? Because you know what? These ring lights and everything. She says, okay, I hope the message will be recorded. I have to drop it. Okay, no problem. Yes, it will be recorded. So here we go. So get your pencil and paper. One of the key words I said this year, I'm ready. So I hope you're ready. So grab your pen and paper and let's get kind of down to it so I don't keep you all day. So I want to give you maybe about 4 ways to really start building your network community. So the first thing I talked about is the beginning of making sure you have a message. So when you're thinking about creating a community, when you're thinking about creating your community, and let me find a little bit of what community is. It could be a Facebook group. It could be a meetup group. It could be if you're trying to do a summit or you're trying to do a conference. Whatever our products and services is that we are the expert in, we have to make sure that, where's the destination that we send people to? Okay. Now we have people who are interested in our products and services. Either we're sending them to a sales page or we're sending them to a community to keep the conversation going. And that's really what the community really does. It helps keep the conversation going. Just for instance, like I was at a clubhouse last night and a lot of people were talking about, how do we keep this conversation going? Well, you have to do it in groups like that. Like if you're doing a meetup group, or if you're doing a Facebook group, or even if you're doing a live, just kind of like we're doing now, we're drawing people in to hear what we have to say, but it has to still be related to our message. For instance, I'm the network ninja. I do all things networking. Every time you hear from me, it's going to be about networking. So I'm relaying that message over, and I'm relaying that message over to make it to be clear, concise, and memorable. But how do I do that? I do that through talking you through some steps of how to make networking better for you, how to maximize your networking, how to get the most out of it. So when we're thinking about communities, it's kind of the same way. You can be an authority in a certain specific area. But if your message is not clear, then people don't really understand what it is that you have. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to sell? So we want to make sure that when we're building our communities, that it relates to our message. Okay? Everybody kind of understand that? Hello. Hey, Miss Lazara. Thank you for watching me. I haven't seen you in a minute, but thank you so much. So do everyone understand? If you understand what I'm talking about when it comes to message and branding, please put a 1 in the comments for me. Because when you're building a community, like I have like about 8 different communities, but everyone knows within those communities, we're talking about how do I build my network base? What requires me to build my networking base? Okay. How can I maximize that? How can I make my business profitable through these networking tips? Well, I bring you in different experts to talk about different things in networking that relates. I share different networking tips. I have membership programs to talk about how do we build networking? What are the steps into it? It's almost kind of like a systemized system. Networking is. So first thing when we're talking about building communities is when you're creating a community, it needs to relate to your message. Okay? Somebody type message in there. It has to speak to your message. It has to speak to your audience. It has to speak to the people who you are trying to draw to your community, to the destination that you're landing, to your sales page. It always has to go to a message. And so the message is normally, kind of relates back to the pain points of why you're doing what you're doing. Okay, when people think about what is my message, what pain and what problem are you trying to solve? And that becomes your message. But your message then has to be clear, concise, and memorable, because your message has to feel the heart and pain of someone else. That's why they would want to follow you. That's why they want to get more information from you. Okay, so that's step 1. The next step in building your community or your network is getting partnerships. Okay, now this is going to be the key. Okay, so you need to get some partnerships. Everybody needs partnerships because you don't want to build this thing by yourself. You shouldn't have to, because there's too many other people that you can connect with. But here, where are we looking for partnerships at? I would say like right here is a good spot, LinkedIn. LinkedIn has over 700 million users on LinkedIn. There's partnerships all over the place in LinkedIn, but it's still where your audience is hanging out at too. You have to figure out where my audience hanging out is. Where's my message relating? Where is my message speaking to the people? Okay, but you have to, when you're creating your communities, you have to think about what kind of partnerships do I want. Now, not everybody is going to be a good partnership for you, but how do I start finding these partnerships? I mean, what am I looking for? So that's going to be one of the key things that we have to think about when we're talking about partnerships. You need to make sure that the partnerships have the same common goal as your message. Okay, we have to still be in the same sequence of our message. Okay, message. So, because you don't want to get a partnership, you don't want to have partners or collaborate with people whose your message don't relate to what they're doing. So say, for instance, you can have a message, but not to say that your partner or whoever you're trying to do joint partnership with is not similar in the same field. It doesn't have to be the same, but it has to coincide with each other. They have to complement each other in order for this partnership to be an amazing partnership, in order for it to start growing your community. Because now once you have this piece, it connects with your message, then it creates a bigger network for you. Is everyone kind of following me? I don't want to confuse people of what I'm saying. When you're talking about partnerships, when you think about going globally, where do you find the most people? Right here on LinkedIn. You can go globally on LinkedIn. You can go globally with meeting people in different areas. Okay. You can go globally with trying to make different connections because you never know who knows who in order to grow your network. But you have to be able to position yourself at different spots where you can figure out where these joint partnerships are. We have to do a little research. We have to do a little due diligence on our end, figure out where these parts at. You know, where do I want to have my business? If you can do business anywhere in the world, where would you want to be? And how would you get to those people? An example, I mean, I'm a co-host of a networking event on every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central Time. If you could do business anywhere in the world, you would want to be at that networking event. Because now there's people from like all over that you could connect with. But we have to put ourselves in those situations. And we have to really kind of filter, do our research and our due diligence on the people we want to partnership, because we have to make sure our message is here, but it has to coincide. It has to meet. We have to have good relationship. It has to have a mutual commonality when we're putting these relationships together, these joint partnerships together. Okay. The next one I told you, like last week, I said a part of our resource bank, everybody should have at least 50 people in your resource bank. Right. When we are actually, okay. Yes, thank you so much. So we should have people in our resource bank. What we should be doing is pulling those people out of our resource bank and doing a little research on them, okay? We need to do just a little bit of research on the people in our resource bank, because remember, when we go to networking, we're not networking for ourselves, we're networking for the next person. And as you're building these resource banks up or putting the people in your resources so that you can have, those are some of the people that could possibly be some joint ventures, some partnerships with you that you can kind of collaborate with together. And then maybe you may have other people that you could collaborate too, but we have to really utilize that resource bank. Now, remember, you're going to networking events to network for someone else, but you're building up your resource bank. That's what I call, resource vault, what I call it. And as you're building up this resource vault, really do your research to see how can we, not only am I building up this resource vault for my clients or for other potential prospects that I'm prospecting now, but how can these people really kind of come together and we put together an event or we do something together? Like, how can we share each other's audience? Okay. And then when we do that, where am I going to take them? Now what? What's next? Now you have to send them to a certain destination, which is going to be your community, whether it's going to be your Facebook community, your meetup community, your Clubhouse community, or if you have an event going on, your summit, your conference, where am I going to take these potential customers in order to keep the conversation going? That is going to be the key. That's why community building is so important. Once you have someone who is interested in your services, how do you keep communicating with them? How do you keep showing them fresh new ideas? How do you keep talking to them? Are they in your email system? Are you sending them to a landing page? I mean, what are you doing to keep the conversation going? And that's all part of building a community. How do I keep the conversation going? Is building that community. And then, you know what? You wanted to me, I'm just going to share this last thing with you, because there's so many different things that I could show you and tips and strategies that I can show you and help you to jump into how to build your own community, because that's part of what we do. Part of what I do. I use these virtual platforms that we have. So many of them. There's a ton of platforms that you can use to build your communities and to make your business profitable. How do you do that? Because we're sending them to a destination. We're sending them somewhere where we can keep feeding them information, giving them more tips, more strategies, more knowledge. Because once you do that, then you do that KTL, that KLT, the know, like, and trust factor, because you're feeding them. Here's the formula: value, ask, value, ask, value, value, value. Okay, I hope everybody got that. That's a formula, okay? Because now, see how I brought all that together. Now you have a community, okay? They're interested in what you have, products or services. You started offering them value because now you're sending them to a destination. Remember I said the destination can be a Facebook group, meetup group, Clubhouse, Pinterest, whatever, Twitter, Instagram. You're sending them to a destination to give them more value about your products and services, how it is to work with you. So you gave them value, then you started asking them questions, but then you turn around and give them a little bit more value, okay? Because when we do networking, it's all about value, building relationships, or building relationships value, building relationships value. You got to give people value so they know how to connect with you, that you are the authority in what you are talking about. Give them some value. Don't just automatically say, hey, you know what? let me get your contact information. Because 9 times out of 10, you don't have a connection with them. You have no connection with them. Why they would want to connect with you? And then a lot of people, when they go to these particular networking events, in person or virtually, they're wondering why people are not doing business with them. Remember, it takes 7 to 8 touches before somebody will do business with you. But you have to build that formula I just said. Value, ask, value, value. And once you build that up, that becomes the whole key to continue the conversation, to them building that trust factor with you, wanting them to follow you more, and to help you start to build your community. One of the things I love, and my next formula is PPP, people promoting other people. And we do that because, what did I say at the very beginning? Our message is clear, concise, and memorable. Now I know what you do. Now I can go and help you build your community, because I can say, hey, this is a fantastic group. This is some amazing ladies here. Go check out such and such group. This is what she's doing in her group. And that's what we want more of. That's really how you start to build these communities, by finding a way to keep the conversation going once you get a prospect who's interested in you. And somebody says, hey, I would love to connect with you. Now what? Can somebody type in the chat, now what? What do you do? I would be curious to know, what do you do once somebody says to you, you're having a conversation with them, they were like, hey, you know what? I would love to get some more information. I would love to get to know more about your business. What do you do next? Can somebody type in the comment? Hey, Melissa, thank you for watching me. Hey, Patricia, thank you for watching me. So can somebody put in the comments, what do you do next? It's a simple question, but sometimes we don't really take it to the next level. It's like, okay, I'll jump on, hey, well, first of all, people say, you know what? If it's in person, let's do a coffee chat. If it's on Zoom, hey, let's jump on a quick Zoom real quick. Right, now what? Now what? That's it. What happens next? So you have to have a plan of what you're going to do next, where you're going to take them. How do you keep the conversation going? If it takes 7 to 8 touches, 9 times out of 10, when you meet with them for the very first time, they're not, 9 times out of 10, they may not do business with you right there, but doesn't mean that they're still not your client. That still doesn't mean that they're not your prospect. Doesn't still mean you can't pour onto them. You can't keep adding value to them. Remember, value, ask, value, value. There's 3 values after that. Value, ask, value, value. Remember, 6 to 7 touches, you got to keep that trend going. How do you do that? PPP, people promoting other people. Okay, that's going to help you build your community. That's one of the ways to help you start building your community. So we have to really pour into our prospects, okay? But they got to know, here's the thing about it is, a lot of us, a lot of times when people meet us, they want to know that we know what we know. And that's, again, where that formula comes in. That's, again, because you are already saying, well, hey, you know what? Why don't you join this group? A lot of times I tell ladies, hey, you know what? I have some amazing ladies you can network with. Why don't you join this particular conversation over coffee? There's a lot of ladies in that group with a lot of expertise and talent that you connect with. Now, did you notice? I'm saying I'm sending them somewhere. Go to this group. There's a lot of, I've given value. Was that not value? Because I'm sending you to a destination. That was 1. 2, I'm giving you value because there's a lot of ladies with a lot of expertise that you can connect with in there. So now we go to, let's ask a question. Exactly what are you looking for? Now we start kind of getting a little information about them. So again, value 2, I can direct them to another spot. They may not be my customer, but they may be someone else's customer. Does everybody kind of follow me? This is how we build. This is the direction we go. These are some ways that you can help your people who's looking for you stay in conversation and community with you, because you're sending them to a destination. You're giving them the value. You connect. Here's the next value. So when they say, well, when you get to ask them questions, you get to know a little bit more about them. Then now, if they're not my customer, I pull for my resource. Remember, everybody should have that resource vault. Because you're not networking for yourself, you're networking for somebody else. So now you can pull from the resource vault, because that's the second value or the third value. That's the Value adds, value adds, value, value, value. So now you're adding more value to them because, listen, they're going to remember you. That's that memorable. Clear, concise, and memorable. They're going to remember that you gave them a referral. They gave you another link to connect. So listen, I could go on and on and on about the process of how this works, but I wanted to just give you a few tips. I always say, hey, you know what? I help entrepreneurs like yourself plug into the power of networking by using these virtual platforms. And this is kind of the way that we start to do it. Okay, so we started with, when you're creating your community, make sure you have a message that relates to what you're doing. Okay, establish partnerships. That means look for people to connect with that. Here's your message that can connect with what you're doing. Don't have to be in the same field, but they can connect. You have similar service or products or service or something that connects together. If you're looking to go globally, okay, LinkedIn is where it is. Remember, I said there's over 700 million users on a free community platform that you can use, okay? That was the second one. And the third one, I said, make sure we're pulling from our resource. The fourth one, pulling from our resource vault to see how, again, we could be making different connections. Fifth, have it go to a destination. And when you're going to that destination, we're doing value ask, value ask, value, value, value. Okay? And then from there, once we have all this kind of combination together and we have been clear, concise, and memorable with our message, now we can go into the next phase, PPP, people promoting other people. I know what you do now, so now I can now start referring you business so to help you build your network in your community. Did you see how that worked? That's just some of the ways we can make our community, how we can build our network and grow. And the last thing I said too, if you can do a business anywhere in the world, I'm giving you a free resource. I co-host an event called Happy Neighborhood Project. I do it every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central Time. I'll put the link here and join it. If you can do business anywhere in the world, then you want to be there because that's, again, another way to start building your network and sending them to a destination to do all those other things I just talked about. So was that good stuff or not? Woo woo? Woo 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 woo. Was that not some juice? That was some juice. But you know what? I think a lot of times we kind of make it a little harder than it is. And I was telling one of the ladies I was coaching the other day, it's just a conversation. I know I said a lot, but it's really just having a conversation. And once you're sitting there having that conversation, you can now be a good listener. Be a good listener, and then you can start dropping your value nuggets, your ask questions, your value nuggets, your ask question. Now I'm going to send you somewhere. Hey, I need for you to go here. This is how you can connect, because we're all looking for that referral base. We're all looking for our referral system to grow, and that's a whole nother subject, and I can get into that. So anybody have any questions for me? I'm so excited, because I think this is how we grow. We empower each other by sharing these tips and nuggets. Now, if you want more tips and strategies on kind of what I'm showing you here, jump on over to my win program. I put the link there, and I share a whole bunch of host of information for you. Remember, networking is kind of systemized. That's what I'm going to call it, systemized. And once you get your systems in place, then everything just clicks like this. Okay. It's this year we need to dominate 2021. And that's my goal. I'm pushing that so hard for us all to dominate. Take this information. You know what? We've seen what has happened from last year. We know when we know better, we do better, right? So this is where we are now in a phase of making things happen. I mean, we need to really get laser focused and make this happen, make our business happen. Let's make this change. Let's get to those 6 and 7 figure income business. I mean, because the more we sit on the bench and warm the bench, the more somebody else is getting what we are trying to get. And it's time for that. It's time to stop being bench warmers, and it's time to start making some moves, hitting the shots. So I enjoy this each and every time. If you are watching, I ask that watching me live, put a 1 in there. If you're watching the replay, put #replay. So just so I'll kind of know, but I want to make sure that, we are connecting somehow. I can be connected. You can connect with me on Facebook, Instagram. Again, you can go to Conversation Over Coffee. Again, I'm hosting that event every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Time. And I give you tips and nuggets again on how to take your business to the next level. And then I have amazing guests sometimes to come on there, and they pour in too, so you don't have to just listen to me all the time to know. In my connection, I'm sharing my network with you to say, hey, connect with these ladies. You know, have them on your shows, have them on your podcast, or they'll even invite you to their podcast. But it's about, you know, us collaborating and sharing information to help us go to the next level. So I encourage you all to join me. You know, it's Thursday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Time. It's called Conversations Over Coffee. It's an amazing group of ladies that you can connect with. So until the meantime, I have enjoyed this. And listen, I'm going to have a major juicy topic next Tuesday. So make sure that you grab your pencil and paper and be ready to join me at 12 p.m. Central Time here on Talk to Me Tuesday. So have a great day. Have a great prospecting day. And you know what? I'm going to be excited to hear some of your results. You know what? Next week, let's hear some of your results. Let's see kind of some things, if you implemented some of the things that I've talked about. I want to hear some success stories next time. Let's put some success stories into our group next time, because if you take this information that I have and you implement it, you will see a great transformation in your business. So until the meantime, I will see you next Tuesday on Talk to Me Tuesday. Have a great day.